Welcome, fellow last faces, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where Chris and I talk about comic books, movies, and TV shows. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about episode 3 of She-Hulk on Disney Plus exclusive. And I don't know, I just had like a weird brain. My brain just went. I was like, wait, what's next? But yep. So this is gonna be episode 3. As always, guys, like, subscribe. Let us know down in the comments what you guys thought about the episode. We are going to be reviewing it for you. And as always, please, there is going to be spoilers. If you're not a fan of spoilers, pause it, go watch it, come back, and then let us know what you think. So before we get into it, we have to do, because I forgot to do this last week, actually. We didn't shame Yendi for not watching the content that we watched. So we're bringing it back. Yendi, shame. So getting right into it, though, Chris, episode 3 of She-Hulk. What did you think?
She called me out, bro.
Yeah.
Tatiana called me out, and I laughed so hard. This episode was great. I'm not gonna say it's an issue that I had with it, but I've noticed that I'm feeling weird about the show on certain points. But first, to address the call out, in the beginning, when she's talking to Abomination and everything like that, she's like, "Who broke you out?" And he's like, "Oh, the Sorcerer Supreme." And he doesn't say, and I literally go, "My boy Wong," and I'm sitting on the couch with Bree, and then she turns. That's when she turns, and she's like, "Hey, I know you guys are ready to see Wong, but remember whose show it is." And I literally looked at Bree with my jaw dropped, like she just heard me, or like what's going on here. But I've noticed, because I know we know it's a sitcom kind of thing, and it had a classic like sitcom moment of we're at the bar, and they're complaining about their day. I think because of the way it's filmed to where a sitcom is filmed, it feels weird, and then also like missing the laugh track makes it feel even weirder to me. So it's just one of those things that I just felt myself feeling weird of like, okay, I know it's a sitcom, and I see where it is a sitcom, but it's missing these elements and it's making me feel empty on this part. But that's not there's no problem with the show. I'm enjoying it all the way through. We did have a surprise guest on this episode a couple months back. We already said spoilers, so Megan Thee Stallion shows up. Couple months back, I remember reading that she was in talks with Marvel, and everybody was freaking out in the comments. Why is she going to be a Marvel? Like, why? Who's she going to be? And so you guys can relax. Whenever people are saying that they're talking with Marvel, they could just be showing up as a normal person. So
As themselves.
Yeah, as themselves. So, and I thought that was really cool. Brie loved it, every minute of it, especially that end clip, which we'll get to later. But overall, this show's been doing really good. I hope I get to see more Wong still. I still want to see a little bit of him. There's no reason for it right now, but I know there's a lot more cameos because she kind of hinted at it of her saying like, "Hey, it's not gonna be cameos every week except for this and this and this." So every episode has had one. So going down the line should be great.
Yeah, this was a fun episode, and that's how I feel about this show in general. I just feel like it's a fun show, and I think some people are getting rubbed the wrong way because it's just a fun show, and I think they're expecting more. But also, the thing is, this show was supposed to be about 12 episodes, right? So, and I think they ended up cutting like 2 of them to make it 9. But the purpose was so that they could just tell these fun stories, and that it could be like, here's the property. So I think what people's having an issue with is because we just had Thor, right? Which was, not serious enough. And then I feel like now that we're coming into this show, like now also people are just like, why is everything just like so nonchalant, right? And that's okay though, because obviously we know, and this is where you have to kind of use your real world expectation and the time all of this was going on. But like we know something big is coming, right?
Yeah.
Like we as the people know because it's been announced. So like it doesn't all have to be very dramatic from the beginning, right? Because a lot of the people that we, grew like were dramatic with, like the drama moments, the people you were sad about, they know they don't exist in this world to her, right? So like them doing it this way and making her have her own fun vibe and stuff like that, the world is not fully like interwoven with her yet, right? Because she just became a superhero. She's still trying to be a lawyer. Like she's an attorney for this particular, for the
Some say she was rejected by
s-
the Avengers.
exactly. So like even that we know that's not true because we know the story,
Yeah.
right? So just having all of that like put in and then kind of looking at it from that lens, I think it would help out. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm just saying from the way that the story is being told, the only thing that I would say is I think they should have released this show earlier. Like so that you could, if this was out like at the beginning of the Marvel TV shows opposed to the end, I think people would receive it differently. But
Yeah.
you never know. But again, everything about what I liked about the first two episodes was in this. I love the way that they constantly have the way that she's breaking the fourth wall. It's not a common thing, and it's not like, but when those moments happen, like they're always the perfect moment. So like that's why I was laughing when you were saying, "Oh, she called you out," because like that was the perfect moment to do
Yeah.
it, right? Because like obviously we just had that conversation about Wong, and then now it's like everyone's like, yes, Wong's showing up, and then she talks directly to you. And then it's fun because they're not taking themselves too seriously, right? Because
Yeah.
even though she's like, oh, don't think this show is gonna be all about cameos, and then goes on to list the cameos of all the characters who've been there so far, and we know, and if you know by the previews, you already know one of the other ones. So just like what I mean, having that fun and poking at real world stuff. And that's not the only way they broke the fourth wall on this, which I'll get into as we go on. But that was super fun, right? Like it's just a fun moment where she's like saying, don't just remember this is my show. Like all these people are cool, but this is my show. And I thought that was really cool to like kind of grasp that in. And then you go into the scene with her and Nikki even looking up Wong on social media, which if you pause that, because they're 30-minute episodes, so it's a lot easier to deep dive into these. But if you paused it, you would notice that that Wong has worked at the Comertage Target as a sales associate for 9 years
What?
before, yes, before becoming a librarian and then Sorcerer Supreme. That is on his LinkedIn styled, what you call it. And
Anything can
then,
happen, man. You got to just
yeah.
work hard. Jeez.
And then after that it has it's like one mutual connection, which is Bruce. And like if you pause it, you'll see it really well. So it was really funny that they're adding little things to the screen, because that's kind of something that I've always wanted them to add little things that, like, because it's a TV format, we can pause it and we can look at these, like, more of the surroundings. And every episode of this show has done something where they kind of like you can pause it and see some good stuff. So I think the whole mood and tone of the show, I feel like it might be different for some people, and I think they weren't expecting that. But overall for me, like this is kind of the show I wanted, especially knowing like how the comic books are, and the fact that we're about to have, like, there's so much content like that's dramatic based. Like to have a nice lighthearted show is nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like something you can just watch real quick 30 minutes, laugh, have some cool, like, Marvel moments, and then just be like, okay, I'm done. Right.
Yeah.
So especially with, House of the Dragons being out, and then tonight, Ring of Powers came out today. So it's like, those shows are going to be like highly dramatic. And then even after this, when we get to Andor, it's going to be like, highly dramatic shows. So having a little fun And then if you think about the next Marvel like thing after this is going to be, Wakanda Forever. So like, even I can see why they would release it around this time just to have a nice like lighthearted show, but people seem to not be embracing that. But overall, like I said, I've been enjoying it. One of the other moments where I was talking about them breaking the fourth wall was like all the comments that she was getting, like basically like, oh, why do all superheroes have to be women now?
Yes,
Like
that's
all
what I
that
was
stuff.
saying. I was like, they're
Yeah.
calling people out.
Yeah.
I love this, and they call out. I also said that they are taking shots at the news
Hmm.
because of like
Absolutely.
it just like you're just trying to get anything. So the
Yeah.
fact that she doesn't answer,
Hmm.
and you know, the fact that she doesn't answer and they come up with the story right there, they're like, oh, you
Yeah.
heard it here, like she's doing, and it's like, dude, you gotta be
Yeah.
kidding
But
me. But yeah,
it's about who comes out first now, and that's the problem. Not to dive too much into that, but a lot of the things is it's not about facts anymore. It's about who can just drop a perfect headline
yep,
or what you call it. You know what I mean? But
clickbait.
having those, having that moment where they're just basically telling, and of course, the fan people don't like to be called out, right? So like, obviously, the fans are now who were already bashing on the show are going to bash it on it more
Yep.
because it's calling them out, right? So like people saying no more female superheroes and stuff like that, it's like that's a real thing that if you look into any of these comment sections of some of these marketings and stuff like that, that's absolutely real. Like it ain't no like um it ain't a fake thing. You know what I'm saying? So to make fun of like to like it's again not take itself seriously and then say that I thought it was like is a really nice touch. But the funniest moment I would say by far is when the dude is like, I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash. Like
Oh yes,
I was dying. I was dying. And then to look at all the faces like that were laughing on the
yeah.
thing, there's like when he was just like, I don't know about y'all, but I'd smash. Like I paused it because I was laughing so hard. Because like it's always a running joke and it's just funny. Like, cause you know how many people like are actually saying that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you know what? Like they, and then he delivered the line so perfectly because he like paused with it. He was like, you know what? He was like, I don't know about y'all, but like you know what I mean? Like you knew he was gonna say something funny. So I thought that they did that part really well. Um, but yeah, after like the episode itself, they did some really good things. I love what they did with Blonsky and just his abomination and how he looked. The whole interaction with Wong when he first shows up and is basically like, "Hey, like I got your message," like you know what I
I
mean.
thought he
And
was
then
gonna be. I thought something else happened because the way he comes in
Mhm.
frantic
Yeah,
was like, oh, something's going on, and he's like, oh, Wong's here. I was expecting him to be like, not right now. Like this,
no,
something's. You know what I mean? I had that
I think
sense,
that was the
but it was
point though.
weird.
I
Yeah.
I think the point is that he's always going to do something or like into something. So like him just like, hey, I ain't got no time. But I also think it was a foreshadow for him being late
Yeah.
later on in the episode. So just all of that was funny. With the other lawsuit with the jerk guy. I don't even remember his name, but basically when they're just like they're setting that up with the and she's like, you really thought you were dating Megan Thee Stallion? like multi Grammy award winning. You bought her a car like that, and he's just like she's just like going in on him because like when you sit back and really think about it, like bro,
She doesn't need you to
obviously you
buy
were
a
getting
car.
played,
Yeah, you're
like
like all this
you know what I
stuff.
mean. So that whole thing going on, like, and them setting that up was really fun, right? So they're setting that whole situation up. And again, these are 30-minute episodes, and I think they still took a really good time of just making sure everything got connected. Because then Wong comes in, they have the whole conversation about, the whole conversation basically like, do you want me to make everyone forget? And he's like, she's like,
Oh yeah,
no,
he's
that's
like,
like unethical. And
well,
then,
no, no, no. He said, I'm not making people forget. I'm not doing that,
yeah,
dude. And
mhm,
and I thought that was great. I was gonna ask the whole. So you guys can shame me for this. I still have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder. So it comes out on Disney Plus Day. I'm gonna watch it on my flight, probably on the way to Portugal, or just in my living room. Um, and I didn't know if that lady was from it or if that equipment, the Asgardian construction equipment, if that
Oh
was
my
a shot towards the movie.
no,
Okay,
that's
it
not
was just like a thing.
yeah.
Okay,
No, yeah,
because whenever she's like, did you guys mug it, or did you guys get this from an Asgardian
yeah,
construction worker?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I was
yeah.
like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
So
it's a nod to the comic books.
okay,
So yeah, that was a nod to the comic books because there's a crew called the Wrecking Crew, and that's pretty much what they were referencing with that. So
gotcha.
they didn't do like the Wrecking Crew got their powers because they were struck by lightning, and but you know what I mean, this they just didn't do it that way, which was cool. Like if you knew about the Wrecking Crew, you'd be like, okay, that's where they got that from.
Hmm.
So yeah, but the conversation between her and between Jen and Wong was hilarious, and he's just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that again. She's like, yeah, because that's highly unethical. And then, just thinking about like, all that whole
And I
situation,
knew
and then
the arresting point was coming up because I was like,
yeah,
he's admitting that
yeah,
he broke
yeah.
him out, and then
So
the fact that they come up and they're like, "So Wong, you admitted to us that you broke him out, so that's a criminal offense." And the
and
fact that
he's
he's
like,
like,
gotta go.
yeah, he's like, "I gotta go." He opens the door.
He's just like, gotta go. But yeah, that whole thing was great. Like Wong making his appearance, Blonsky as Abomination, I thought was hilarious. Him just basically like, I can control it whenever I want to. And then he's like coming out and he's like super calm and everyone's like, ah, like
Yeah,
what I
that was
mean?
too. That lady in the back.
Yeah, she
There's always. That's the funny thing though. Is like there's always somebody in the group that's just like, "You're doing too much."
yeah,
And she's the way she screamed.
it
I was
was
like,
perfect.
"Bro," I was like,
It was
"Relax."
perfect. It was hilarious. I
Oh
I
my
laughed.
god.
But yeah, there was like great moments, like just them showing how Blonsky basically helped like that security guard and the
Oh,
prison
this.
counselor and the librarian, like all of that stuff, and he's just like keep it together, keep it together.
Yeah.
But it also just showed you like I love that it showed Jen like being a great lawyer, right? Being like these are the reasons why, but also realizing that the curveball of you dealing with superheroes or supervillains or whoever you're dealing with is so ridiculous that like him now turning into Abomination could have literally changed the whole case, right? And then like just the fact that Wong did break him out, and then like I love that Wong broke him out, and then she was basically like, but he came back. Like that's the way that you can tell he's changed. Like he could have just ran
He could
off,
have stayed out. Yeah.
yeah, and then like just her, kind of moving with the case, right? Like I thought it was great that they still showed her lawyer skills. And then while all that's going on, he Blonsky obviously gets thinged. I think we will see him again. And when I mean again, I think he's going to be in Thunderbolts. So once that show comes out, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. And then what else? What else?
I
The whole
let.
case. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the case with the douche
Yeah.
guy
Real.
was I liked the fact that they had to be like, okay, so in order to prove his case, like we just got to be honest and with
Yeah.
him and tell him what he is, which I'm
Yeah.
happy to do. So whenever she goes up there, she's like he's like, is he so full of himself that he really believed that Megan Thee Stallion would date him? Yes,
Yeah.
because that's who
Absolutely.
he is.
Yeah.
Like he thinks he's all that, and the look on his face,
Mm.
right, of like, I want to jump in on this,
Yeah.
but I'm winning at the same
Yeah.
time. It was perfect. I love that
Yeah.
look that he gives
Yeah. It was perfect because she
yeah.
was just like he once said that he's a New York 10 and a California 11.
And
Like, you
the
know,
whole crowd's like, ah.
yeah, like what I mean. And then obviously during that whole case, while that's happening, it is the shapeshifter. He wins the case. Pug wins the case, and then Meg actually shows up. Which what I mean. Obviously, I laughed. I love Megan Thee Stallion, so I laughed because I was like, that's just cool that we're at a point where like we can start meshing media, right? Like, because now people who like, I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head how old Meg is, but imagine like those things. Like Iron Man came out in 2008, like 2008.
She's like,
So
I think
you know
she's
what I
like
mean? Like
25.
yeah, I can check. I'll check while I
Bray, how old's
talk.
Megan
But
Thee Stallion?
so
What?
what happened?
What'd you say? She's
So
25.
she's 27.
Oh,
27.
27.
Yeah.
They're the same age. No,
Yeah.
she was born in 1995.
Oh, okay.
She was younger than us.
Yeah.
Dang.
So she's 27 years old. So imagine she probably was watching Iron Man like
Yeah.
2008, like we were essentially. I mean, so that whole thing to me is like really cool that like she, and even if you follow her on her, Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, she's been bragging about being on it all day. So like, and Tatiana is actually a huge Megan Thee Stallion fan, and she came out and said she, that was her favorite moment of the whole show. She just couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because like, obviously they didn't want to give it up. And I think that was awesome that they didn't give it up.
Yeah.
Even though, because even like the latest report that was read like before this episode came out, it was actually saying that she, like, Meg was still in talks to get onto it. Like, I mean, it wasn't a factual yet, but clearly she already knew that, the scenes were shot and everything like that. So I thought I loved every second of that interaction, and just her, going crazy in the club. Just in the courtroom saying like, yeah, it's like it's not me. Like I wouldn't, you know what I mean? And then what's his name coming out and going, "You think I got a shot with the real Megan Thee Stallion?" Everyone's like, "Bruh." Like, you don't. And then the other thing I wanted to point out, one of the times when Jen is leaving before she does the interview, and the report is like, the mafia was this. Did you get your powers because of a mafia hit gone wrong? And that was also a nod to how she really got her powers, because she actually got shot, and then Bruce had to do the blood transfusion.
Oh, okay.
So that was what that line was for, and I thought that was cool. And again, those are the little things that they kind of throw in. Like if you read it, if you know like the origins and stuff, you'll know the characters. So I thought that was really cool that they kind of threw that in, and it was like, oh snap, like that is how she got her powers. Like, but now it's a lie because that's not how it happened, right? But just to throw it in there, I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the wrecking ball thing, the wrecking crew thing was a nod, but also you can see that she's starting to have a dilemma essentially of like, is this something she wants to continue doing? But it also was funny because like they grab her and they said that the boss needed her powers, right? So clearly these guys are working for someone, right? We will find out who that someone is, I feel, at some point. But I think it was cool, like, them just setting that up, but also her remembering, like, oh, I'm getting mugged, or like, they're trying to get me. And then she's like, oh, wait, like, I can Hulk out. Like,
The
know what I
fact
mean?
that she's like screaming, she goes, ah,
Yeah.
wait, yeah, I did like
Yeah.
that too. Yeah, it was, but the whole, I don't think she realizes, like, whenever he tries to take her blood or anything like that, like, I don't think she really realizes what was going on there.
Yeah.
And that's what
I don't think she put it fully together
Yeah.
yet. And that's the thing, right? Like, it's going to be an interesting, and I think, like I said, this is 9 episodes. So I think we're going to get like the real dramatics of this, like episode 5-ish. I wouldn't anticipate 4. I think 4 is going to be like another fun one.
Mhm.
And then I think the last 4 is when it'll get serious and then kind of push to where you want to go. Even though like the tone of the show doesn't really call for all that, but I think we'll get a more serious tone during that. And then obviously the end credit scene was just fantastic of her just, her and Meg just having a good time. Meg basically, making her her lawyer, I thought was hilarious. And then, the twerking thing,
Yeah,
and people are already like people are already complaining about it, but that was funny. It was funny. Come
that
on.
was great. And the fact that she's like, I die for you, or I'll do anything
like,
for
I'll
you.
kill for you.
Oh yeah,
and then she's like, yeah.
She's like, bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back, because the people get like that. People get like that with their fandom, and like I said, that Tatiana being a big fan of hers, kind of like it's a cool moment. You know what I mean? Like just to see all that and that interaction. But again, it's not for everyone. People are gonna complain. I don't want to see Meg the Stallion in my Marvel. Well, guess what? You're gonna see Meg the Stallion in your Marvel. You're gonna see a lot of other people who are now going to jump into this fandom. Like it's okay for new people to become fans. Like, you know what I mean? Again, like we were just saying, Iron Man came out in 2008. There's a decade of MCU fans out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's more than a decade now. Like, you know what I mean? So like there's people who've been fans of this, and this is where they know their medium, and that's okay. And if they want to dive into like the comic books, they can. So I think people need to stop complaining. If you don't like it, there's plenty of options for people to, there's so many other things to watch. I was telling, like a bunch of my friends like how crazy September is because you do have House of the Dragon, you have Andor at the end of the month, you have The Ring of Powers, you have Rick and Morty comes out on Sunday. Like so it's if it's not for you, then don't watch it. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. But yeah, anything else you wanted to add to that episode?
No, I don't know. I think we
All right.
covered it all.
All right, so let's just wrap it up like the same way we always do. What was your favorite part of the episode?
Favorite part of the episode is probably when Megan Thee Stallion and her are twerking in the office. That's probably my favorite. No, I'm kidding. My favorite part of the episode is Wong. The whole, what was it whenever he basically admits that he broke him out, and they're like, that's a criminal offense, and he's like, yeah, I gotta go. Hey, classic Wong fashion.
I know, and
he's like, yeah,
so slick.
He just looks at him. He's like, I'm going. and the fact that they knew they knew he was gonna just leave. They watched him come in that way.
He's the sorcerer
exactly.
supreme.
They're like, yeah, you did this, and he's like, I'm out. And like they're not gonna do it. They're like, yeah, of course you're out.
Yeah, so, like what are you gonna do? But like you can't chase him.
Yeah,
like he's the sorcerer supreme. So for me though, I would say I've just really enjoyed how they have used Jen to break the fourth wall and how she's doing it. And I think that cameo scene, like just her saying like, hey, this is my show, like, you know what I mean? But also expressing all the cameos that are in the show. I thought it was a fun way to poke at itself. And that was my favorite scene. So for me, because it's just like, hey, it's not a cameo show, but it's totally everything we've had has been cameos. And we're probably going to get another one next week. And I hope there's a cameo in every episode just because of that moment right there where she's like, it's not a cameo show, but like it totally is.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun and witty. So like I said, been enjoying everything that's been coming out. So that is going to wrap it us up for I'm just saying words at this point because it's 12:30 a.m. That is going to wrap it up. I don't even know how to say it. Wrap it.
It's gonna wrap it up for us, guys. Be sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of the episode, and
please put it in the comments, guys. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode. If you watched it, we would love to answer those questions and just say stuff. So please let us know. But that is going to be it for us today. I will be dropping another. I don't know if I'll be dropping another one for Ring of Power. It's probably come out at some point, and then House of the Dragons, and then we'll be back next week for episode 4 of She-Hulk already, which is crazy because we're in September. So yeah. So until next time, Fire Team.